Welcome back to Rapid Fire Wargaming. We are back on Aurea's fate. This is part of our narrative campaign. It's the Blood Angels versus the Death Guard. This mission, which is Consecration, a match play mission from the Kill Team 2021 rulebook, we are fighting over the Chapel of Malakim Phoros. And inside the chapel is his sword, one of his weapons. A relic of the Lamenters chapter. The reward we're going to get for winning this mission is slightly different than previously. What we're going to get is, if the Blood Angels win, then the Lamenters are forever going to be in their debt because they've rescued this relic of the chapter. And so in the final narrative battle of 40k, I'm going to get a little cheeky detachment of Lamenters to help me out, help the Blood Angels out as a token of thanks for rescuing this relic. However, unknowns to the Blood Angels, the Death Guard are also trying to seize this relic for very different reasons. They're going to use it as a locus of some sort of dark rite to sort of bring demons into the material plane from the war.
The hilt of the sword is apparently made of black stone, so they're going to use it to, cause a bit
over our dead bodies.
Exactly, exactly. There you go.
Yeah. So on the flip side, if Garfield wins this, then he's going to get a bunch of chaos demons to bring along to the final narrative battle. So that's what we're fighting over. The glory of Lamenters chapter, basically, or their downfall.
We'll see.
Okay. So coming up next will be a little. Our deployment. We'll be looking at the tactical ploy cards that we've drawn, because that's something we do in match play Kill Team.
Yes.
And then we'll crack on with the game. All right, so we are deployed for this match play game of Kill Team. Done a slight change to the actual deployment for this particular mission. Instead of a Dawn of War style board setup, we've actually gone for sort of a hammer and anvil one where we're going lengthways across the battlefield instead. It's just for filming purposes. It'll be slightly easier to move our guys around. So the rectangles that I've deployed in are sort of here. My deployment zone starts where this wall is across here, and so I've got to deploy within a rectangle here and then a rectangle here. So I've put 3 tactical marines this end. There's a gunner in the middle with a flamer. They've all got conceal orders this turn, and my other 3 here, the leader, and the heavy gunner, and one more bolt gun wielding guy. I determined to do a recon scouting move, which basically gives me a dash action before the game starts with one of my guys, which I will do at some point soon. And Garfield, talk us through your deployment. What happened over here?
So I've got a group of 4 poxwalkers here, which are concealed. I've got, again, exactly the same deployment setup as Tom. So I've got a rectangle here and a rectangle over here. So I've got 4 poxwalkers there, as I said, all concealed. 2 poxwalkers here, concealed. And over here, I've got my unit of Plague Marines and another 2 poxwalkers.
Very nice.
And my pre-game thingamabob
was fortified.
So I've pushed forward an additional barricade here to hopefully sort of get up there later on and sort of hopefully take that. Was it like a relic or objective?
Crash.
Some sort of
Imperial
statue. Imperial. I can desecrate it with my nerdly goodness. So here is my kill team for this mission. I've got 3 Plague Marines at the front there. One is my Plague Marine champion, fully WYSIWYG. He's got a bolt gun, power fist, plague sword, which that you don't really use. So he'll be my leader, or my champion as they're called. I've got 2, right, his left, I've got a standard warrior there with plague gun. And to his right, our left, is my icon bearer. I'm actually using a plague surgeon in this game because I thought it just suited the narrative a bit more. I don't understand in Kill Team, if you're meant to be stealthy, running around with a 12-foot banner that's glittery gold and brass and all sorts of stuff isn't very stealthy. So I'm using him to represent that, and behind them are 8 poxwalkers. So that is it for this mission. Here are my tac ops for the Death Guard. I can't read them out because otherwise Tom will know what I've got. He always wants to win. So we've got this one. We've got this one. And we've got this one. And when I achieve them, Tom will say that during the course of the game.
Okay, so this is my tactical marine kill team, who will be trying to purge the enemy from the Chapel of Malakim Phoros. It's a sergeant with a power weapon and an inferno pistol, a gunner with a flamer, and a heavy gunner with a heavy bolter. and 3 tactical marines with bolt guns. I gave some upgrades. The heavy weapon guy's got a suspensor system, which basically allows him to move with his heavy weapon and still shoot. And I think I gave purity seals to him and the sergeant as well, which allows them to perform a command reroll for free once per game. Okay, and these are the tac ops for the tactical marines. Again, I won't read them out because, Garfield will do anything to win. He's a massive cheat. So it's this one. Pause the video if you want to read them because they're quite long. That one. And that one. Danvers uses his free pre-game dash action to move his sergeant forward a little bit before the game starts. He then activates the sergeant and performs a normal move towards the first objective. He performs the consecrate ground action, which is a mission action to claim that objective. He has no valid targets for his bolter, so that's the end of the sergeant's activation. Garfield activates 2 poxwalkers. They both move and dash towards the objective. The next tactical marine to activate moves and then dashes towards the objective. It then consecrates it, securing that objective for the Blood Angels this turn. Garfield activates his champion, who reinforces the objective in his backfield. Danvers activates his heavy gunner. He moves him into a firing position slightly further forward. Garfield activates 2 more poxwalkers that move and dash forwards into the chapel. Danvers activates a tactical marine on the far side of the chapel, who moves and dashes onto the objective and then consecrates it. Another plague marine is activated, who moves towards the far side of the chapel. Danvers activates his flamer-wielding gunner, who moves up towards the entrance to the chapel on the far side. Garfield activates his icon bearer, who moves and then dashes towards the chapel. Danvers activates his last tactical marine, who takes up a firing position at one of the open windows of the chapel. With the last of the tactical marines activated, Garfield can then move the rest of his poxwalkers. Okay.
So, quick turn there.
Yeah, that's what Kill Team's all about. It's rapid fire, isn't it? Like the Wargaming.
Yes, yeah.
See what I did there?
Sign up quick.
Sorry, I'll cut that out. So it was quite fast. Like, I'm really taking advantage of the fact that I have a little bit quicker. My guys are a little bit quicker. I've sort of seen how tough the Death Guard can be. So I want to try and get as many victory points as early on as I can, even if it means throwing a few dudes away, I think. Because once your guys are sitting on objectives, it's hard to shift them.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
So my sergeant ran forward. He consecrated this objective here, and then this guy here consecrated this one, obviously, moved in. And also I dashed a guy onto the back objective, which is hidden in the back there. It's like a little servitor, and he's got that objective there. So that's 3 VP for me in this first.
Yeah, moved up quickly there, mate.
Yeah,
I mean the speed of the Marines really shows how fast they can move, really, compared to my Death Guard. So I had a bit of trouble really deciding what to do over here. So I actually brought my champion over here to desecrate. We're doing consecrating and desecrating.
Yeah, I like it.
So I've come over here and desecrated this statue here, and I've backed it up with some poxwalkers so I can sort of desecrate that every turn.
Exactly, because another disadvantage. I mean, you've got more models. Another disadvantage is that your poxwalkers have only got 2 AP or APL, and it costs them 1 extra to do a consecration.
So they can't do more than 1. They can't do that.
Yeah.
So, and then I also brought up my plague surgeon, who's a banner man, but I'm going to call him a plague surgeon going forward. Up here with a little sort of buff bubble, and then hopefully we're going to try and get into here where a relic of the Lamenters is stored, and sort of start desecrating here. And on the right, my right flank, Tom's left, I charged forward 4 Poxwalkers to try and again try and dominate this objective over here. I don't think it's going to happen turn 2, but hopefully turn 3 I can sort of start doing it.
Not if I have anything to do with it.
Yeah. So, shall we roll for initiative, Tom? Is that
yes,
what we do next?
well, actually, we do have various other things. I think let me just talk them through whilst we're on the thing.
Okay.
We ready the operatives, which we don't have to do. We determine initiative, so you're absolutely right. I'm talking nonsense. We can roll for initiative now. I currently have initiative, so you win ties.
2. That's a 4.
So I have it again, I'm afraid.
Oh.
And then we do the strategy phase. We generate command points. We both get 1 extra. We didn't spend any last turn, so it means everyone's got 4, which is nice. And then we also play strategic ploys, which this time I think I will do. I think I am going to use Bolter Discipline.
And I'm going to do the Death Guard equivalent, which is malicious volleys.
Yeah, so this basically means that instead of just being able to perform a shoot action once for turning point with a activated operative, we can do it twice, which is really juicy.
Cool.
Target reveal. Are you still filming, Mr. Garfield?
I am still filming.
That's splendid.
Target
reveal is where you take your TAC Ops cards, and if any of them say reveal this TAC Op in your target reveal step of the strategy phase, then you do it now. I don't have any of those, but you maybe do.
I do maybe have one. Let's have a little look to the camera. I don't know whether to do this.
Leave a comment. Should he do it? It might be a bit late by the time you read it, but...
Yeah, do you know what? Because I'm falling behind already, I'm going to reveal it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to reveal my TAC Op, which is this one, which is Seek and Destroy. So I'm going to select 1 enemy operative and 1 friendly operative, and if I incapacitate him, I get a victory point. And if that... Well, you can read it for yourself, there you go. So cool.
That's it. We'll go back in. We'll reactivate our little tokens, flip them over, and then we'll flip back to the top-down camera for turning point 2. Danvers activates his sergeant, who consecrates the objective in front of him. He then moves forwards to take on some Poxwalkers. When an operative performs the Consecrate Ground mission action, they get 1 extra APL, 1 extra defense characteristic, and the attacks characteristic of their melee weapon is increased by 1 to represent the fervour with which they hold that objective. The sergeant levels his Inferno pistol at the Poxwalker in front of him. He gets 2 critical hits and 2 normal hits, for a total of 16 damage. As you'd expect, 16 disgustingly resilient saves aren't very easy to make, and the Poxwalker gets melted to slag. Garfield moves a Plague Marine into the chapel. He raises his bolter and fires at the Tactical Marine who's standing out in the open near the entrance to the chapel on the far side. The first round of fire fails to bring down the Tactical Marine. But thanks to malicious volleys, the Plague Marine can shoot again. This time the Tactical Marine isn't so lucky and gets blown apart by the mass reactive shells. Danvers moves his flamer-wielding gunner into the chapel and unleashes a torrent of promethium into the Plague Marine in front of him. Some poor hitting and some good saves means he fails to do much damage. Only 2 wounds go through. Finally, the Tactical Marine dashes back into cover. Garfield activates his Icon Bearer, who moves to the objective and then consecrates it. After consecrating the objective, he still has 2 AP, which allows him to shoot twice thanks to the Malicious Volley's strategic ploy. Garfield gets 2 normal hits. Thanks to consecrating the ground, Danvers can roll 4 defense dice for this operative. He forgets to retain 1 for the cover, which is a bit silly. He tries to re-roll using a CP, but still 1 goes through. Takes the operative down to 8. Garfield shoots again. This time Danvers remembers to retain a defense dice for cover. 1 still goes through, taking 3 more wounds off. That flame operative is injured, with 5 wounds remaining. Danvers activates an operative looking through the window of the chapel. He fires at a Plague Marine on the far side of the chapel. The first round of shooting takes the Plague Marine down to 8 wounds remaining. Danvers shoots again thanks to Bolter Discipline strategic ploy. Three more damage goes through, taking the Plague Marine down to 5 wounds remaining. Finally, the Marine dashes sideways to get out of line of sight. Garfield activates his champion, who consecrates the objective and then moves sideways so he has line of sight on the flamer-wielding Tactical Marine. Even though he's hitting on 2s, Danvers makes some remarkable saves so that no damage comes through on this first round of fire. The champion raises his bolter 1 more time and fires. This time, even with a command reroll, Danvers can't keep that Tactical Marine gunner alive. In order to be able to score his TACOP marksman, Danvers moves his heavy gunner back into his deployment zone. Thanks to his suspensor system, the heavy gunner can still shoot after moving. He fires into the Plague Marine behind the column. Some great saving from Garfield means no damage comes through from that first round of fire. The second round of fire is much better, 2 crits and 2 normal hits for Danvers. Those crits means that the weapon has AP 1, so Garfield can only roll 2 defense dice. He tries to make 14 disgustingly resilient saves, but even with a reroll, thanks to the Icon Bearer, it's not enough to keep that Plague Marine alive. Danvers reveals the Deadly Marksman TACOP, which gives him an extra VP. Next up, Garfield starts activating Poxwalkers near the Tactical Marine Sergeant. The first one charges into combat. The Sergeant uses his Purity Seal to re-roll 1 of his failed hits. 2 damage is done to the sergeant, but then the sergeant turns around and carves the poxwalker to pieces with ease. Another poxwalker activates to try his luck. He charges into the Space Marine sergeant, doing another 2 damage, but unfortunately once again Garfield's unable to save that poxwalker with his disgustingly resilient, so he saves. Power swords and rotting flesh aren't a good combination. Danvers activates the Tactical Marine in his backfield. The Tactical Marine consecrates the objective and then moves back a little way. The Marine then open fires on the Icon Bearer. Some terrible shooting, plus the extra defense dice from the consecration of that middle objective, means that the Icon Bearer shrugs off the shots. The second round of shooting is a little better, but still only 2 damage goes through. Another foolhardy poxwalker charges the Space Marine sergeant. The sergeant gets taken down to 3 wounds remaining, but in turn carves the poxwalker to pieces with his power sword. The second poxwalker of this activation group moves round to the far side of the chapel. Even though all his operatives have now activated, Danvers can still perform the Overwatch action with one of his operatives. This is a normal shooting attack with -1 ballistic skill. The Icon Bearer gets off scot-free. Garfield activates 2 poxwalkers in his backfield. They just stay put with conceal order. Danvers performs a final Overwatch action with his heavy gunner, but no shots get through. Garfield then moves his final poxwalker into the chapel to support the Icon Bearer.
So, turn 2.
Yeah.
Pretty brutal for Tom there.
Ooh.
Bit of a masterclass there.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty brutal. Killed a lot of poxwalkers, but a lot of my, 2 assets down now. 2 tactical marines are dead. One with a flamer, and a few my leader, who's pretty important, is now fairly badly injured.
Yeah, he's had 3 wounds.
Down to 3 left.
He did take 4 poxwalkers with him, but
I love it. Yeah, if they run around
know
the corner, just like slicing them up with his power sword.
Yeah, I don't know what the trade ratio is there, but I think 4 poxwalkers for 1 noble captain.
He's out there,
probably
sergeant.
a decent trade there. So.
And also, epic. I love Kill Team just for that seems what should happen. If you're a zombie and you run around the corner into a Space Marine with a power sword, you sort of should get horribly decapitated, shouldn't you? Really.
But from a tactical perspective, I'm up against it because Tom's on 8 and I'm on 4. So what I've done here, I brought my Plague Champion over here. He rained some shots over here to kill a Space Marine who was there, who's now been not replaced, but now another poxwalker's moved into his position.
Maybe that's him. Maybe
it is. So I've got these 2 poxwalkers here holding this objective. They will be desecrating that as the game continues. I've got my Icon Bearer in the middle here, who's doing a bit of business. Hopefully,
and he's tough, isn't he?
He's tough. That one means he's on 10 wounds because he can re-roll 1, so he's disgustingly resilient whilst he's near an objective. So he's sapping the religious energies from the Chapel of Malakim Phoros. Tom's got his wounded captain here down to 3 wounds. Sergeant, I should say. Sorry, yeah. And then I think it's three.
Three back here, one behind this building here. Heavy bolter guy in the back, who I had to move back quickly because I realised that Deadly Marksman had to be in one of my my drop zones, so I had to move him back, and then he killed something. So if he's alive at the end, I get another victory point. If my sergeant's alive at the end, I get another victory point as well for Rob and Ransack. These are two that have been revealed this turn. And then this guy at the back is just furiously consecrating this statue and over and over again, and getting really psyched about it because he keeps getting like extra action points and stuff. He's just going like, yeah, I love it, I'm doing it, I'm just going to anoint this with holy oil or whatever.
That's it, whatever they do.
Exactly.
So without further ado, is it now time to decide
initiative, my friend?
Initiative. I need initiative this turn.
Yeah.
So.
Oh no. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so I get it again. I'm not really sorry. I'm delighted. So we've got some other bookkeeping to do, which is the kill team way. We generate command points. We get an extra one of those. Cheeky little command points. You're on to 3.
Up to 3. I'm up to 2.
We can play strategic ploys. So again, I think at this point, I want to stay back and hold what I've got basically. So I'm going to use Bolter Discipline again,
and I'm going to do Hateful Volleys or whatever it's called.
Yeah, the equivalent.
Equivalent. Back down to 1.
Target reveals. This is another thing we have to do, which is if you've got any tac ops you need to reveal in the target reveal stage, you do that now.
Which I haven't got. Mine are revealed as and when I achieve them.
Awesome, and neither have I. So I think we can go on to turning point 3. Danvers activates his sergeant, who consecrates the objective, then moves up to the edge of the chapel. He then levels his Inferno pistol at the icon bearer and fires. He gets 2 critical hits and 1 normal hit. Danvers forgets that this weapon is AP2, but after some fiddling around, we determine that the icon bearer takes 7 wounds. With his final action point, the sergeant dashes back down. Garfield activates his icon bearer, who consecrates the objective and then raises his banner. This gives him rerolls 1s and 2s on his disgustingly resilient saves. He then shoots at the sergeant. The sergeant still lives. Thanks to malicious volleys, Garfield can fire again. This time, even with a command point reroll, the sergeant is finally brought down. What a hero of the Imperium. Danvers then activates his heavy gunner, who fires at the icon bearer. 2 crits and 3 normal hits. 1 gets retained for cover. Garfield's disgustingly resilient saves aren't enough to keep the icon bearer alive. He's finally brought down. The heavy gunner has no more valid targets, so that's the end of his activation. Garfield activates 2 Poxwalkers, both of them consecrate the objectives they're standing next to. Danvers activates another Tactical Marine who moves sideways and then opens fire at a Poxwalker standing in front of the chapel. First round of fire doesn't finish the Poxwalker off, but he shoots again, and this time does the job. That Poxwalker is killed. Garfield activates his champion, who moves sideways and returns fire. However, the Emperor must be truly watching over this Tactical Marine, because he manages to block all of those shots. And the second round of fire doesn't seem to fare much better. No damage is done to that Tactical Marine. Finally, Danvers activates his last Tactical Marine, who consecrates that objective in his backfield.
after absolutely blistering turn 3 there, mate.
Brutal.
Yeah, the Death Guard with 2 Poxwalkers there, 1 Poxwalker there, and my champion, who is the worst champion I've ever seen.
Yeah, he did. This pillar did get completely obliterated by his bolt of fire.
Yeah.
This guy's like cowering behind it.
Yeah, there's a Blood Angel down there who's
Lucky to be alive.
lucky to be alive.
Blessed
that's
by
what
Saint
I'm going to... Yeah, he hasn't been blessed by Nurgle.
No.
But yeah, so we're going to call it after turn 3 because I can't actually catch Tom because he's 11-7 up. He's got dominant ball position.
Yeah.
I've got Poxwalkers who can't do anything other than... because they're mindless.
Yeah. So
I
they
can't move onto objectives and do
No.
things. So... yeah, so Tom's little masterclass there of not overcommitting.
That's true. Or like committing early and then getting a few points up early and then hoping that's enough to get you through the rest of the thing. Yeah, so we worked out, like, I'm on 11 now, I get an extra 1 for Deadly Marksman at the end of the battle if this guy's alive, which he probably will be.
Yeah, exactly. That'll just... it'll tip him over the edge.
I could probably run onto the objective and get this, and I can do this one again. And I think that basically just means Garfield can't quite claw it back for Nurgle this time.
So, the Chapel of Malakim Phoros
Is still the
is
Sons of
still-
Sanguinius.
Yeah, it's still a beautiful consecrated land. It will be rebuilt.
Okay, so there it is.
Yeah, another tough game for the Death Guard there. I'm pretty inexperienced playing Death Guard, and what we saw there was any sort of hindrance to their movement
Yeah.
really slows them down. So
Thinking about it, it's sort of like, it was good for the narrative, this terrain piece, but actually, as you say, it's on a base, and if you do any kind of climbing in Kill Team, it reduces your movement. And
Yeah.
you had 2 circles, which is 4 inches of movement. Is that
yeah,
right?
so
God,
so
very much.
getting up over that lip sort of turn 1
Yeah.
meant I had like 2 inches of movement.
Yeah.
So, and with
Whereas
Kill
I
Team-
could sort of leap forward. I was already on this, some of the middle objectives turn 1, and I could get those early victory points. I think if the game goes on long enough and you're tough, so you do stay around pretty well. I mean, I put so much fire into your icon bearer. He eventually went down, but he took a lot.
He took a lot. He took like a melted pistol and then a heavy bolter. Which,
So if you're sitting on objectives that you've claimed and then they're just sat there, then I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
So I think moving in fast with the tactical marines is the way to go, I guess.
the way
But
I
as you
think
say,
so.
we're both fairly inexperienced.
pretty inexperienced.
We're learning as we go.
Yeah, and we're loving it. Kill Team.
Yeah,
Such
it's good,
a
isn't it?
sort of fast-paced game that you can sort of get in a couple of hours, and it's really good fun.
But then, so the Chapel of Malakim Phoros is saved by the Sons of Sanguinius, and the Lamenters will thank us for that.
They will. So
And
maybe
they will send soldiers to our aid.
maybe they'll turn up in the
Yeah.
final battle.
That'd be awesome. And the sword itself, which you probably can't see it, but it's on a little terrain thingy here. That may make an appearance.
So it's
as
going
well.
to be a gift. It's going to be a gift to the Blood Angels from the Lamenters, who are my favourite chapter, to the Blood Angels to use in their final defence of Aurea's fate.
Yeah, it's going to be epic.
So, yeah, there'll be some juicy balls to go with that.
Yeah, but before then, there might be a mission or 2 more. We'll have to see.
Hopefully, the Death Guard can claim back, sort of fight back, and get some benefits into the last game.
Yeah,
Or it's going to be a
exactly.
pretty uphill struggle into that night because the last battle is going to be a big sort of endless horde charging at the Blood Angel line. So hopefully, I can get some.
Get some things to
we'll
help you
have
out
to
there.
see what happens.
Absolutely. Cool. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time to see what happens on Aurea's fate.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching.